All right. Good night. Good night. If you can hear me, please drop a thumbs up in the comment section. I just want to make sure that you guys can hear me okay. And thank you for coming in. And we're going to get started in about a minute or so because I just want to give a little bit of time for folks to get in here. But yeah, thank you so much. Got a couple of things to talk about tonight that I know some residents have been talking about in these Miami Garden streets. So I just wanted to get on here and have a conversation with the community about what's happening here in the city of Miami Gardens. And so with that, thank you so much. Very much appreciate it. Hello, good evening, everyone. All right. Yeah, and if you would like to speak, I'm gonna go ahead and let's see if we can get this. Oh, let me put a banner up here. I gotta put a disclaimer here so that everyone knows we this is for this content is for informational and discussion purposes only. Um, this is not the City of Miami Gardens views. This is just our views. We're having discussion here. So I want to make sure I put this disclaimer up on the off chance that someone comes on here and says that this is fact. No, we are having a discussion as if we were having a discussion in person. We're having a discussion online. And so here we are. And I'm going to go ahead and put the link here. If anyone wants to come up and discuss anything, you can go ahead and click the link. I think if you have an iOS device, I think you have to, there might be a different way of getting on there. I'm not sure. I know there were some issues the last time, but go ahead and try it and see if it works. Hopefully it does. If not, that's okay. You can always just put your information or whatever it is that you want to talk about. Just put it in the just type it up and then I'll read it from there. So we've got a full show ahead of us tonight. And I dropped the link for you guys for anyone who wants to say something. So tonight we're going to cover topics that matter to our city, including highlights of the upcoming city agenda, the ongoing controversy. And I know some people may say, what controversy? Yep, there's an ongoing controversy with the city's Juneteenth event. We're going to do a little hurricane prep information, not too much because I'm going to be posting some stuff on my social media pages outside of this. And just giving you a little bit of information about the FIFA World Club Cup games that are coming up. The first game, and actually that's the only game that will be played. So I don't know if that means there's going to be a lot more traffic on that night, but that will be this coming Saturday, June 14th. So I'm going to give you all the dates, the times, because some of the times are at 9 o'clock at night, some are 3 o'clock in the afternoon, some are 6 o'clock in the evening. They vary. So I just want you guys to just be aware that there's a game because I had someone call me and ask me what's going on at the stadium right now. And I said, there's a Bad Bunny concert happening. So they got stuck in traffic. I heard a couple of people got stuck in traffic trying to get home last night from the Wilkie D. Ferguson Gala. So yeah, so good evening. Thank you so very much. And we're just going to get started because I know the Tonys are on. I know some folks want to watch the Tonys, myself included. So the City of Miami Gardens uh, next council meeting will be on June 11th, 2025. Starts at 5:30 p.m. and it's located at City Hall. For those who are not aware, that's the time. So if you'd like to obtain a copy of the agenda, you can head over to the City of Miami Gardens website. You scroll down to the bottom and you'll see a schedule. Click on June 11th. And when you click on it, it should bring you to another page. And at the top, it should say download agenda. And then it'll bring you to the actual agenda itself. Now, there's two versions. There's a shorter version of the agenda, which is what they hand out when you actually go to City Hall. And there's a longer version where you actually read in depth of what is in, each item that they have. So I just want you to be aware of that. Now, in terms of if you want to leave a public comment, you can do that while you're there at City Hall. You just get the yellow public comment card, fill it out, hand it in, and you have 2 minutes to speak on whatever it is that you want to get in. So you have 2 minutes, or they'll bring that ding ding button bell. If you are not able to make it to City Hall, you can always email the city clerk, and I think it's about 2 hours before the actual meeting, so 3:30 or 3 o'clock, something like that. I think someone can let me know the exact time, but I think it's I want to say it's 3 o'clock. I can't think of it right off the top of my head right now. And you just write your comment regarding whatever it is that you're commenting on, and then you send it to the city clerk. So I just want to break down a little bit of, there's several things on this agenda. One is, you, let me just give a quick definition of each item, breakdown on the agenda so that folks know. You have an ordinance, which is a law. Um, you have a resolution, which is official decision, but it's not a law. And then you have consent agenda items, which are a bunch of agenda items that are not, I guess I don't want to say they're not serious, but they can just be bundled together, and they usually will just vote on it all at one time. So it's not a separate vote on those items. So that you are aware of that. Three of the agenda items that I'm going to be speaking on tonight, and again, if you don't have the agenda, I didn't post it on my social media page. I forgot, but I'll post it after for those who haven't seen the agenda. But it's a good thing to read the agenda before you go to City Hall, just so that you have an awareness, you have an understanding of what is going on, so that you're not lost. And if you want to speak on something, you have you're ready to speak on it. You're not just getting it at the last moment. So one of the items I want to speak on is an ordinance that's brought up by I think it's ordinance number 9.1, and it's sponsored by Vice Mayor Robert Stevens, regarding the I'm going to pull it up on my, hold on one second here. Just going to pull it up on my computer. Um, and it's the ordinance of the City of Miami Gardens amending Chapter 16, Article 3 of the City of Miami Gardens Code of Ordinances to create entitled window openings. So I I think this is in response to, um, there were some residents who came. Well, not they. Well, I don't know if they came, but there were people who spoke on behalf of two residents, a couple who had hurricane shutters on their home. And I don't know if this is in response to that, but after reading this agenda item, I think that might be. And I think my computer just froze on me, so hold on one second. 'Cause- yeah. Okay. Well, at any rate, I had some notes on that, but nonetheless, one of the things that I noticed in this particular agenda is that it says there should be no window coverings over, unless there's a natural disaster or pending natural disaster. That's what made me think of that couple. You had two residents speak on it. You had a neighbor and you had their son come into City Hall. This was what, 2 months ago, or about a month and a half ago, and they spoke on the fact that those residents were getting fines. And one of the things that they said was, look, it's not on the books. There's no law that says that they cannot have their hurricane shutters on their window. Why are they getting fines? And so I think this is in response to that. If you have not read it, please read it, because that's important. Unfortunately, my computer froze on me, so I can't get my notes, but that's all right. So we're gonna just move on to the next agenda item, and that has to be voted on twice. That particular item, because that is an ordinance, so they want to make that into a law and then add it to the current ordinances, change the number, so that it will become a law. So that's why I just gave the short definitions of the three: ordinance, resolution, and consent agenda item, because I know that's sometimes folks ask those questions. So it's just good to be aware and educate ourselves on that. The next one is a resolution that's sponsored by Councilman Reggie Leon, and that's resolution 11.6. And that is to rename the street between Northwest 12th Avenue between 184th Drive and 189th Terrace as the Links Incorporated Way. So if you're near the senior center, I don't know if that's the beginning of this where the senior center ends. I'm not sure, but nonetheless, that is what is being proposed. I don't know why there's another street naming coming up for another organization, but my opinion is I think if we're going to start naming streets, there needs to be, and I'm going to look into it myself. I haven't had a chance to really look into the street naming. How does that go within the city? Because there seems to be a lot of just organizations getting streets named after them, yet the people who helped to build this city, nothing much, and I don't understand why. I don't know what the dynamics are behind that. So I just wanted to give you that one. And also, if you go to the consent agenda item, oh wait, there's another one. I think there was one more that I had to go through. Hold on. Yeah. Okay, so consent agenda, there are a few. These are pretty short. Consent agenda item 12.2 is the city sponsored by the mayor, and he wants to give $2,800 from the community benefits account. The community benefits account is the Formula One monies. So whenever you hear someone say community benefits account, that's the Formula One money, the $5 million that was given to the city of Miami Gardens over 10 years for Formula One being in the city for 10 years. And for those who don't know, they have now extended that for an additional 10 years. So we're talking about 2041, Formula One will be here. The city has not spoken on that. They're real hush hush about it. But I'm telling you, I've seen it. I posted about it. And I'm reminding you that there's an additional 10 years on top of the 10 years that were already allotted. There's an additional 10 years. So 2041 will be the next Formula One, extension, if you will be extended to that point. So he is going to be actually 12.1, 12.2 is the mayor. He's giving $13,501 to the Untouchables Youth Flag Football Team, which is the Miami Pals program. I think they're going to their Junior Olympics. So they're getting, funding from that. And then he's giving what do you got? $2,800 to the AARP chapter for their event, which is going to be held on the 24th at Betty Ferguson Park. So there is another one. One of the things that I want you guys to take a look at is that when you see these community benefits fund, see if the council person is given an example of what they're doing with the funds. Because if you take a look at 12.4, you have Councilwoman Linda Julian, who's using $7,000 towards seat 5 community initiative, but she never says what the community initiatives are. And that's a problem because $5 million, while it might seem like a lot, it's $5 million over 10 years for city events, for the residents. Things change. Things are getting more expensive. What are you using that $7,000 for? I think that's problematic and it needs to be addressed. It needs to be itemized. What are you using this money for? Because the last council meeting you had Reggie Leon, who had I think it was $10,000, if I'm not mistaken. And there was no explanation as to how the funds are going to be utilized, just as educational purpose. That could be anything. Anything could be educational, but what are you talking about? So we want to make sure that we get those things itemized. When you go to their meetings, the ones that do have meetings, because the two that I just spoke of, Linda Julia hasn't had a meeting since 2020, I think, and Reggie Leon's meetings are, I think, once a year, maybe. You only have 4 council members that have consistent meetings once a month. Those two are not the two. Um, so I just want to let you know about that. Now, there is 12.3, which is under a consent agenda item. And I want you to be aware of this particular one. I don't know why it's under consent. Well, I do know why, but I don't think it should be under consent agenda item because it needs to be spoken on. This is for the Serenity. I'm going to click that. I'm going to using my phone here. So please apologize as I pause a little bit because my computer froze again. It's for the Miami Gardens Senior Center housing. Now, if you attend the senior center, you know there's a 2-story home beyond the gates of the senior center. That is the Enrico farmhouse, and I'll talk about that in a second. The property on that side behind the farmhouse and which includes the farmhouse itself is where the senior housing is going to be located. Um, It stated that on September 7th, 2017, the City Council approved the ordinance to lease the property located at that address. Um, Here's the deal. So for those who know, I've been advocating for this farmhouse to be repurposed and reused and not to be torn down. If you go into this particular agenda item, you will see that one of the things that is in here is the demolition of that house. That house is currently the oldest house in the city of Miami Gardens. It was built in 1925. That house is very much a part of the dairy industry. That home, the owners who are Italian immigrants came here in I think 1916, and they built that home. The house across there's a Seventh-day Adventist church across the street. There are 2 homes on that property. Those are the homes of their children, and James and Marie. That family owned all of the property all the way up to, I believe, 7th Avenue. So we're talking about all of the cows and the chickens, and they brought black grapes to the area. There's a lot of history there. And one of the things that was stated when the city acquired the home was that they were going to utilize the home as a repository for history of the city. They were going to use it as in a sense, a museum. And the $114,000 that they received from this after the sale of the home, and they had $114,000 left over, was to be utilized to refurbish this home. Yet the home sits there, and I think, to me, and this is my opinion only, it's demolition by neglect. The same thing that's going on right now, or had been going on down in Coconut Grove with the Coconut Grove Playhouse. There was a fire there, but there was no active means of trying to get it fixed. And so I just want you guys to pay attention to a lot of things that are going on. There is a lease agreement in here, and you have to go through it. It's a lot of pages, but there's a lease agreement in here that says they are leasing the land to the company. I mean, the builder, the developers, for $100 per year. So they will be getting what, $9,900. So that's what, 99 years or something. So I just want you guys to pay attention to what's going on. You can click on the link of that particular agenda item or any of the agenda items, and then you will be able to read through and see exactly what's going to take place. How many rooms is it? How big is it? How does that impact the traffic? Because 12th Avenue right now, just having this event today, I'm sure there's traffic over there. So how will traffic be impacted once you have a multi-story dwelling in that particular area where you only have houses? Now you're going to have an apartment building right there. How does that impact traffic? Those are things you want to make it. It actually is it's actually historical under Miami-Dade County. The Miami-Dade, this house, the Enrico farmhouse, and the Arch, the Sunshine State Arch, are the only 2 historically designated structures in Miami-Dade County, in Miami Gardens for Miami-Dade County. Those two, those are the only two. The city went out and made it so that those two, they filled out the application. The city did that. So I don't understand why the city is now tearing down the very thing that they went and got deemed historical. It's crazy to me. It's unbelievable, but there we are. So I've been in contact with Dade Heritage Trust. She's actually been out there, Christine Rupp. We've spoken about it. She has an architect ready to go to take a look at the home. So possible funding to get for that home. It's a part of like I said, the dairy industry is a lot regarding that. But the name of the place that they want to put there, it's called Serenity Grove Senior Housing. That's what it is. So I just want to give you a little bit on that and just a few of the items that are on the agenda. So please take a look at the agenda when you get a moment. I will be posting it on my page. And if you're following me on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and if you're on the WhatsApp page as well, then I'll be posting them there so you can take a look at it as well, because it's just important that we pay attention and understand that those things impact us. And then when we see all this traffic, we don't realize or recognize that it's a situation there. So let me go ahead and stop for a moment. I'm going to take a look at some of the comments that you guys have made here. I'm going to take this off. I can see. All right, so we'll go back and I'll say hello to everyone if I haven't said hello to you already. Hello, hello, hello. And if you want to come on up, you can click the link. I'll put it back. It says, all right, let's see. Yash Sean. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Yashawn Gaming. Okay, that's because Reggie wants to rename every street so that they can help run. Well, this is what I've heard. This is what I've heard. This is a thought I've heard. Yep. So how can one get some of the community benefits? That's a good question. So you'd have to talk to your council members, right? And I don't know what exactly would you want the to utilize the funds for? I'm just curious, because that's something to bring to the council members, right? Because I think the AARP, they brought that to the council, to the mayor, and as well as the PAL program. So definitely you can bring that to your council member and see um, what it is that you want and see if they can make that happen for you, because hey, why not? All right, so we're going to move on to the next item, and that's the Juneteenth. So usually, for a little backstory, June 19th is the day that it's Galveston, Texas, is when the day that those folks learned that they were quote unquote freed, although they were free, technically freed 2 years prior. But that's just the general date that they use for all of the emancipation days, although some were freed earlier, some were actually freed even later than June 19th. The state of Florida's Emancipation Day was May 20th, 1865. And so when President President Biden, made this a national law, most places that were not, there were a lot of places that were already, acknowledging Juneteenth, but some places were not. And so everyone now started to become aware of it, and now they were acknowledging it. City of Miami Gardens, one of them. And for the past, I believe it's 5 years now, the City of Miami Gardens has held some sort of Juneteenth event. One in the first year, it was I think the first 2 years was at Calder Racetrack, and then the following 2 years it was in the parking lot of Calder Racetrack, and then the parking lot of Hard Rock Stadium. Well, this year, because of the FIFA World Cup, I don't think it was going to be possible for them to come, because the FIFA World Cup, and I'll be talking about that in a little bit, those games are like every other day. So it would be kind of difficult to set up and put down and that kind of stuff. So they decided to have it at Ives Estate. I'm not sure why they chose Ives Estate, as we have what, 15, 16 parks here in the city. So I'm not sure why they couldn't use one of those parks. But okay, hey. Uh, on May 20th, so remember the date because that is the Emancipation Day in the state of Florida, 1865 to be exact. So Juneteenth is celebrating or acknowledging Emancipation Day of those enslaved individuals in Galveston, Texas, but just in total. The city of Miami Gardens posted on their MG Juneteenth page that they're changing the location of the venue, or just changing the location of the event, I should say, to a new site, new location, new venue. That would be in Gulf Gulfstream Park in Hollandale Beach, Florida, in Broward County. And the prices that were previously $20 per car, and then I think for the VIP, I was told I don't have VIP, I didn't buy any VIP, but from someone who did, they said the prices had gone from $40 to $50 to $100. Okay, so you had $20 and $100, but that VIP had changed prices several times. Those prices were no longer there. They're now going to be the cheapest price would be, or the lowest price would be $81. And the current highest price, so it's $81 and $161. In between that, when they made the changes that first day, I took screenshots because I was like, wait, what? It had $81, $135, $177, $215. Those are the prices for the Juneteenth event. No, it says VIP is 75, but it's really 81 because if you tack on the surcharge, it's actually $81. They just put 75 on their page, but if you go to the Eventbrite, it's actually it comes up 81. I don't know why they just don't put the $81. I know it's technically quote unquote 75, but you're gonna pay 81. So just keep it real with people and just tell them they're paying $81. Um, and it's no longer an open event in a park, it's a formal dress event. So all of those things come into play. Oh, and by the way, it's per person. Before you had the $20 per car, it's now $81 per person or $161 per person. That's problematic because the city of Miami Gardens is the largest Black city currently in the state of Florida. You're acknowledging the emancipation of enslaved individuals who were held in bondage for years, decades, right? And 2 years after they were freed is when they found out. I don't understand, and this is again my opinion only. I don't understand the logic behind having a Met Gala, because that's the theme, a Met Gala themed event for called Legacy in Black for Juneteenth. What's the connection between Juneteenth and Met Gala? And for those who are not aware, Met Gala is based on the Metropolitan Museum of Art's uh, every year they have this gala, and they fundraise money for the museum. Well, I stated this at City Hall Council 2 weeks ago, and one of the things I said was the city of Miami Gardens doesn't even have its own museum. Why are we basing things on one Met Gala? It's a formal event, and it takes away from the actual meaning of that day. You're the largest Black city. You like you're missing a lot. There are cities that aren't even quote unquote Black cities here or have a large Black quote unquote population that are doing really awesome Black history and Juneteenth events. I saw something even a couple years back. I saw something with what do you call it? The Sunny Isles. They had Florida Memorial University Choir. Mind you, we have the only historically black university college in the southeast here, right here in the city of Miami Gardens. Like there's a lot of things that are missed. And I think that it is so problematic that we're missing that. Yeah, it's the $81. Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, the $81 is the 75 plus the I think it's $6. No, $6 and something. So that's how it comes up to $81. It's technically the ticket itself is technically 75, but it's yeah. So let's see here. Let me go in here. Wilson came to the senior center and said that, but I hear you. Yeah, I had four people tell me yesterday that I think that the seniors are going to get have they're going to give free tickets to the seniors and they're going to also shuttle them over there. I'm not sure of the logistics, but that's what I was told yesterday. So I don't know if it's only for seniors that attend senior center or is it all the seniors in the city? Because if it's only the seniors in the senior center, what about the people who don't attend the senior center and would like to go to that event? Because two of the people that I spoke to yesterday said they wouldn't go because they don't drive at night. They would have gone to the one at Ives Estate because it was in the daytime. Well, I know this thing starts at 4, but maybe they didn't want to dress up. I'm not really sure as to why, but nonetheless, let's see what it says here. So, do you think there is a documented process documented that involves you? If so, please. What do you mean by that? What documented process are you talking about? Let me know. Maybe I misread something. I think because a lot of people are doing Met Gala themes. Yeah, I get that, but the thing is make it make sense. At least if you're gonna, why have? Think about it. If you're gonna shuttle the seniors to the event, and they're getting tickets for free. So I don't know how many seniors attend the senior center, but let's just say it's 100 seniors, that attend the senior center. So now you have 100 tickets going to those seniors. Then you have the shuttle that's going to take them to and fro. So that's money for the person that's driving the shuttle. That's gas money that's going over there. Then they have to rent the venue. So I saw Councilwoman Wilson do a walkthrough on her page of the venue that overlooks the race track, and then the actual inside. Plus, you're paying for the the group Jagged Edge. How much does all of that cost? Couldn't that what wouldn't it make sense to keep all of that money in the city and do a Met Gala event at a different time, but really hone in on the day itself? Like that day is really um a lot of people fought for that day to become a national holiday, and now for you to just turn it into a mini, this is my opinion only, a mini jazz in the gardens, it's a 1 day event. Yet we had a whole month called Black History Month in the city. I didn't really see anything. We could have used the funds that are being utilized for this for the entire month of June or Women's History Month, or we're currently right now in Caribbean Heritage and Black Music Month. This is Gay Pride Month. There's so many things that the funds could be utilized for. And I just think, you know, myself and I've spoken to other people. Yes, shuttle and free to exactly. Senior center. Oh, sorry. Let me put it up for those who don't see. Yeah, I think that is crazy. Shuttle senior center people on bus. So, wow. Where is the money coming Where is the money coming from? The city. I mean, I know they have sponsors, but how much of that fund, from the city itself is going to be utilized in Broward County, in Gulfstream, in Hollandale at Gulfstream? How much does that cost for that venue? Why couldn't we do it here? And I know one of the reasons why they stated on their page that they're doing it there I mean, yeah, they've done a change of venue and location is because of the weather. I mean, that's June 21st. You don't know what the weather's going to be like that day. We live in South Florida. You could go outside, it's beautiful sunshine, and it starts to rain and there's lightning. How many of us have seen that happen? And you walk outside and you're like, wait, I thought it was a nice, beautiful, sunshiny day, which the sun is out, and yet there's rain and lightning happening. I don't understand the logic behind that, but whatever on that. So I just wanted to give you guys a little heads up on the controversy of that and why there's some people that are questioning the funds, why they're questioning the location, um, the theme itself, why the change of theme from, because there was two people that I spoke to last week who said they had folks that were coming from, ghouls and Liberty City that were bringing their kids. They wanted to bring their kids, and now they're not going to. They're going to go elsewhere because it's too expensive. $81 per person is not, if you have 4 or 5 people that you wanted to bring in this day and age of what's going on in the world right now, folks have to really think about how they're going to spend their money. So I'm just putting that out there. Now, I had something with the hurricane season prep, but I'm going to go past that because that didn't work out in terms of how I want it set up. So I'm going to have that on my social media pages so that you'll be able to see some of my hurricane prep items that I have that I think you guys should have, and better ways of thinking outside the box in getting hurricane items, because sometimes people think that you have to wait until the hurricane, is coming, then you got to get. No, you could get a lot of these things December, January, February. You don't have to wait until June to start getting your hurricane supplies. Get them ahead of time so that way you don't have to break neck looking for batteries or looking for water or looking for tuna, those types of things. And also, go to other supermarkets. Don't just stick to your regular schmegular supermarkets like Publix and Winn-Dixie, Walmart. Go to your Presidentes. Go to your tropical supermarkets. You'll be surprised when you're looking for tuna in those stores, because those are a specific what's the word I'm going to look for? I'll just use culturally specific. I don't know how else to say it, but just they're not the they're not the irregular quote unquote supermarkets that you go to. They have things outside, right? Yes, they gave supplies, although I heard there was some issues with that too. Because I had a couple of people who got batteries but didn't get flashlights, and then I had people come up, call me and say, "I got flashlight, but I didn't get batteries," and I was like, "Ooh," and I didn't get the first aid kit. So I don't know what happened. I have no idea what happened in between. I went over there. I saw folks. I know someone was there from what 5 a.m. And so I saw people were there from 5. I saw people who were when I was in the line and said, "Hey, what time did you get here?" They said 9. So it all depends. But I know some folks got. If you went? Did you get every? I don't know if anyone who's on here. If you went, please let me know if you got everything or you didn't get everything. I'm just curious. I mean, it is what it is. Oh, you got no first aid kit for you? Oh, did you get the flashlight and the battery at least? Because I know there were people who got, like I said, they got the battery, but they didn't get the flashlight. And I think those were the people in the beginning. They didn't get the flashlight and they didn't get the first aid kit, but they got batteries, and then vice versa. But none of those people got the first aid kits. So I'm not really sure, because I know that was a thing. They probably ran out. I got there late. Did you get sand? Because I know they were giving out sand. They had the Home Depot bucket. I know they were giving out 3 bags of sand, the battery, flashlight, and what was it? It was something else. I forgot what it was. But yeah, oh, you did. Oh, you got it. Okay. Okay. I don't know what happened with that. That's weird. Okay. So, but nonetheless, make sure that you have, and these things you can get. I know folks are on a budget. So I'm just telling you, think outside the box. You can go to the Dollar Tree, Family Dollar, Dollar General. Make sure that you pick up the box of the 300 matches, right? Get the matches, get bleach, get canned foods, get if you have like flashlights. If you don't have flashlight, get flashlights. You know, sometimes Harbor Freight, when you buy something, you can get like a little flashlight for free. Get one of those when you're going to Harbor Freight and they ask you which free item do you want. Get a flashlight. Or next time when you go to get the batteries, they're all there. Just make sure that you have them so that you don't have to wait. And if you don't have a little portable battery charger, please get one, especially one that's a solar one, so you can charge it in the sun, because it helps. It really helps. And if you have not, I would suggest getting the light bulbs that are rechargeable, and you can get them in Walmart, and you can also get them in on like Amazon or somewhere. In case the light goes out, those it'll because it's charging, that light will stay on, and it'll stay on for I think 3 or 4 or 5 hours, something like that, so that you'll at least have the light on. And I had experience about a week, 2 weeks ago, when all the lights went out here on my block. I don't know why, but they all went out, and that light popped on. I was like, I didn't realize the light was out because the light was on. And then I was like, wait, why is the house dark? And then I realized, oh, it's the light bulb. So just if you can get one of those, please do. It's worth it. And if you have any kind of solar lights anywhere, and you have them in a box somewhere, just take them out and start just having them out there charged, because you never know. Don't wait until the last minute to try to do some things like that. So, folks that have concerns, as Chris said, is it possible come to city council? Oh, let me put this here. Yes, yes, get solar light. Oh, we boycott. Oh, what's the boycott? Oh, I'm late. I don't know. There's a lot of boycotts going on. Sorry. I don't know what's the boycott. Is it the same situation as Target? Let's see. Please state the monies are coming from the taxpayers who have city public officials as stewards of their tax dollars. Yes, yes, that's what's coming from the city. Yeah, from the residents. So you're paying what you're getting for quote unquote free is not really free. It's coming from the city. So yeah, absolutely. Let's see. We boycotting. Oh, okay, get solar lights. Uh-huh. Yeah, tell me why. Maybe let me go down. I'll see why. Maybe I missed it. Okay. Let's see. Folks that have concerns, Chris said, is possible, come to city council meeting and speak so it's placed on record. Send an email to city clerk. This information on the agenda and the website. Absolutely. Do not wait. Don't, talking to your neighbor is great if you're talking to them to tell them to come to the city council meeting with you. Okay. Because, talking to each other and not getting it out to the right people and the right ears to hear the concerns does nothing, because nothing's going to move. When you start to attend the meetings and you start talking, then you have some movement. Then you have other people, because you see what happened with Rolling Oaks Park when that name, it was a consent agenda item. And remember what I said with the consent agenda item, they vote on everything all at once. They voted all at once, and residents saw that on the agenda prior to the actual meeting, thus notifying their neighbors and their neighbors notifying their neighbors and kids and so forth, that those neighbors and residents, some who usually go to meetings and some are on here, they all showed up. They showed up, and I'm pretty sure that the council was not aware. I mean, they were aware, but I mean, not kind of probably surprised the amount of people that showed up on that day for the initial conversation regarding Rolling Oaks Park, and the amount of people, because I think it was about 30 some odd people that spoke, if I'm not mistaken, about Rolling Oaks Park. So it's quite a few people that got up there and spoke about it. And while it did pass last week, it did pass. It's just important for you to utilize your voice. Your voice matters. And it may open the ears of other people that you don't know. Maybe they're not there, but they're probably watching online. And they're like, hey, what is that about? Let me go and find out. And they become more involved. That's how you get involved. When you're ignorant of information, you don't question anything. When you understand what's going on, you question everything. It doesn't just move the way it would move because no one was talking about it, no one was saying anything. Now it's, oh wait, we got to pause on that, and that's exactly what happened initially with the Rolling Oaks Park uh, renaming. That unfortunately, for the residents, it took it continued on. So let me see. Oh, how do we get out of this? Let's see. Okay, here we go. Oh, same as Target. Oh, I haven't even been to Dollar General, really, honestly, but the name just came across me. But oh, okay. All right. Okay, Patricia Wright says download a copy of the budget. For every dollar spent, it needs to have a reason. Counties never swap dollars. What's for Dade is for Dade, and Broward is for Broward. That's what I didn't understand. I didn't understand how is it that this was going to Broward County. Like, how does that work? That is something that is very just really caught my eye that I just didn't even understand. Okay, let's see here. Why aren't constituents aware of how the monies are being used? That's a good question. That's a good question. They're not speaking because it's a constant thing. If you look on the agenda, and you guys know this, I'm not saying anything to you guys because I know you guys know this, but they never some of these things, like some of the items, like I spoke on the $7,000. There's just the general. This is for this seat. Well, what is it? What are you using the money for? What are you using this money for? Or what is it? A couple months back, when you have a resident that said, "Hey, why are we using funds from this city for an event for I forgot the two schools?" And somebody could put it in the chat. I think it's well, the two football the football game. Sorry, at Tras Powell. That's Formula One funds for two schools that are not in the city of Miami Gardens. Because remember, city of Miami Gardens only has two high schools: North Miami Carroll City and Miami Norland here. And those are in the city. Those two schools are in the city of Miami. Nowhere near here. Trash Powell's not even in Miami Gardens. But yet the response from the mayor was, in the documents, that they had students that are resident that attend those schools, and that's why they're given funds for the benches for that event. And that's a problem because that money is for the city of Miami Gardens residents. Why are the monies going outside of the city of Miami Gardens? The same thing I asked when you have funds that are being utilized from the city for another city's museum. Why? Why can't this money stay in the city? I forgot what the numbers are when they talk about money circulating in Black communities, but it's not long. What is it, 30 seconds in Black communities or something like that? And we're actively watching as this council is spending money in another city in another county. That's problematic. That's problematic. So they never go over the consent issues. They just read and pass on. Exactly. Exactly. That's why I want people to take a look, because on that consent agenda is the senior housing. Why is that on the consent agenda? That should be a separate thing so that folks can go through it, read through it, and see what's going on. So that is a consent agenda item. That should not have been a consent agenda item. The same way not the street naming, but the park renaming proposal should not have been a consent agenda item. It shouldn't. It should not have been. So I get what they're doing, but no, Central and Northwestern. Thank you, thank you. I completely forgot the name. Central and Northwestern. Yes, those are the two schools that are playing. They're not even over here. That didn't make any sense. So that logic is ridiculous, because how many people live in Miami Gardens but work in Doral, or live in Miami Gardens and work in, Pinecrest? You're gonna, just because they work there, you're gonna send money over there? That makes no sense. The money needs to stay in the city. It needs to stay in the city. And yes, also don't lose sight of the third term. Stay focused. Seats 2, 4, and 6. Those are the seats that are coming up for election next year. 2, 4, and 6. And also, I know the city of Miami, they're trying to add an additional, I think it's coming up this week, if I'm not mistaken, an additional year to their term. So that's something to watch out for. Pay attention, open eyes, ears, and everything else. Pay attention to what's going on, because while it may not be in this city, it may impact you in some which way, and you don't want to get shocked. So Michelle stated that it was not the city, that it was not this, wait, it was not the city event. It was from the Women's Impact Group. $300,000. Where is the quality of life for our residents that those dollars are being used? What Women's Impact Group? Wait, I'm confused. Wait, hold up, hold up. Did I miss something? So what's not the city's event? The Juneteenth event is not the city's event, because the city's name is on there. So, and it says the city of Miami Gardens. Same way they had their kickball event at Ives Estate yesterday. They could have had that right over here at Bunch Park. They could have had it, you know, Carol City Park. It wasn't like it was a whole bunch of people from what I could see in the video in the audience. You know, why not have it here in this city? Why not keep the funds in this city? You know, those are the things that we need to really hone in on and question them. Don't be afraid to ask the questions. Don't be afraid to ask those questions to these council members. That's a job. That's not, you know, that's not their personal money. That's the city's money. That's the residents' money that they're utilizing however which way they want. And that's a problem. And that needs to be noted. So I just want to empower you guys with just a little bit of information regarding um, the agenda, a little bit on the hurricane, which I told you I'll be putting something a little bit more so that you can see some of the items um, and things that you can do. One more thing, I know folks are always, you know, running out to get ice. You know, you can make your own ice. I know this is like completely off, but it just came to my mind. Just get like a Tupperware, a jug, depending on where you are. I know some people may live in deficiencies or they only staying in a room or something like that. Wherever you have space, you could use a water bottle. Put it that in the freezer. That will last longer than those bags of ice that you buy from Walmart and Publix and the gas station and so forth. Those rock hard ice blocks that you would be making with your containers are going to have the ice is going to last a lot longer, and it'll keep your items a lot cooler. And don't go buying tons and tons of ice cream and frozen items to put in your freezer, because guess what, if the light goes out, you're going to have to hurry up and cook those bad boys. So, and eat up the ice cream real quick. So that's kind of, that defeats the purpose of you trying to, you know, be prepared, and then you're having to worry about cleaning out your freezer because your fish, you know, is you know, spoiled. So just, that's a little 10 cents over there. All right, so let's see what we have here. It says, I'm keeping my sign in my yard and I use it as a conversational piece. Okay, yep, there you go. That's how it is. It says, Michelle Powell stated that foolishness, like we are not informed. We can pull the budget and but what women's impact is that for the, is that for the Juneteenth event or is that for something else? I'm just curious. I don't know if that's is that what you're saying? If that's for the Juneteenth event? Because I'm curious. It says, when we go to the council members meeting, can we bring these items? Absolutely. They should actually, quite frankly, if you ask me, they really should be bringing these things up to us, especially if they're having meetings right before a council meeting. They most definitely should be putting it in there. And the ones that do have newsletters, which I don't know which ones have newsletters, but if they do have newsletters, they all have social media pages. They could utilize those social media pages, because I've seen some of them use their social media pages for different things. So they absolutely can do that. They just don't. They don't. And they should. And so I would bring them up. I mean, I brought up the Juneteenth event, and I know someone was like, I didn't see that anywhere. I said it needed to be said. So I said it. That's it. That's all. I'm not gonna worry about it. But yeah, I would bring it up to them in their meetings because you see Miss Carla when I for the Juneteenth event. That's a women's impact. I gotta look. I gotta ask that question. I'm curious. There's got to be that. So no money from the city of Miami Gardens is utilized for the Juneteenth event. That's interesting. I'm gonna look. I'm gonna find that out. I'm gonna investigate myself because I want to know what's going on there. That makes no sense to me at all. But you see, I talk about a lot of the when I go to Councilman Stevens meetings and I ask questions about things that sometimes is nothing to do with nothing, but it matters because people need to know regarding. So we're gonna move on to FIFA, the FIFA Club Cup games. Um, I don't know if this is some new thing. I watch a little bit of soccer, but not enough to be well versed in it. So if you know more than me, you can come up on stage and let me know because I really don't know the full context of what the Club Cup games are. But nonetheless, they're going to be the first game is going to be this Saturday, June 14th at 8 p.m., which means folks will be here hours and hours and hours beforehand. So if you were here last year during Copa, you see what time folks were out and about in these streets. And it was early in the morning. I'm talking about I was going to Sawgrass and I saw folks out there at 11. No, I was 10. And I know someone who told me they were going to church at around 7 and they saw folks out there. So just be aware. I don't know how um the no, that was Miss Pat. That was Miss Pat regarding the women's impact. I just wanted to know if that was for the Juneteenth event. So just to make sure, so I know what questions to ask or add into it, because I'm not aware of it. I didn't know, so I'm asking questions. So I'd like to know and be aware. But none, even if it was paid by someone, let's say it was paid by someone else, it's still not in the city of Miami Gardens. There you go. Regardless of who pays for it, I don't care if it's, Joe Schmo paid for it and it's whatever, it's still not in the city of Miami Gardens, the largest black city in the state of Florida that's supposed to be acknowledging the freedom of the enslaved individuals who were freed 2 years after they were technically freed. That should be in the state. That why keep talking about your freedom and that we're the largest black city and we're talking about history, and yet you're not honoring the history in the city with your residents, be it they black, white, Hispanic, whatever their situation, wherever they're from. It should be here. It shouldn't be outside of the city. Nowhere near here. I mean, Iowa State is close by, but it's still not the city of Miami Gardens. That event should be held here. Period. Period. That's a bad look. That's a bad look for the city. Maybe they don't think it's a bad look. I think it's a bad look. That's my opinion. I think it's a bad look because you're the largest black city, but you don't even want to have it here. And then your slogan is Miami Gardens is where you want to be, but yet the city doesn't want to have its Juneteenth event in the city. Make that make sense. That doesn't make any sense. But I digress. That's it. Um, So FIFA, back to FIFA. I just had to just throw that 2 cents in there. Oh, let me read this last comment here before I move on. Council meetings is a place to express your concerns within 2 minutes. Speak of the meat of your concerns so your time doesn't get wasted. Absolutely. So FIFA, you have 8 games. June 14th, June 16th, June 18th, June 20th, June 23rd, June 25th, June 29th, and July 1st. Okay? Those are the games that are going to be happening here. They're going to be happening in other cities as well. So this is not the only city, but those are the games that are going to be happening right here for the Miami, quote unquote, the Miami in Miami Gardens games, and the first one being June 14th. Now there are some games like the one on June 18th and the June 25th, which will be at 3 o'clock, and July 1st, which will be at 3 p.m. And June 29th is at 2 p.m. So I just want you guys to be aware of the times because it matters. If you're going to work, if you're coming from work, how does that impact you? And this is going to be an insight into just a little insight into World Cup because that's going to be next year. How do they handle the traffic? Where are they going to park? Because currently the 35 acres is still being utilized for parking, but but it's supposed to be, I was told last year at the end of the summer, and now this year I was told at the end of the summer that they're going to start construction. So we'll see. We'll see when I see the first brick laid, then I know they're really starting. But until then, I'll hold my breath. Um, the 35 acres is utilized for parking. It was utilized for parking during Formula One when it was stated that it wasn't going to be used, but then it ended up being used. And there were 15 other parking lots throughout the city. Okay. So that's why I put out the map. I didn't really see a map for this one yet. If I find one, I'll definitely put one out so that you guys know where the parking lots are. But it's probably going to be the same spaces and places. Norland Middle, Norland Elementary. Um, what's the other one? Betty T, maybe Brentwood, probably Risco Park. I forgot the I forgot the churches on 207. Jesse Trice. If you're on 207, no, 27 near Snake Creek Canal, Snake Creek Canal from 27th to 47th Avenue, and the empty spot that's over there on 199th near the dump area over there, that empty land, that's parking as well. So, and then of course you have people that have folks that park in their yards. So just to be aware of that. So if you haven't gotten your pass from the city, go ahead and get it. It's free. And I say this because people, I put it on, I did a video and folks ask, is it free? So I'm just telling you, it's free. You're a resident. I was told you can get up to three, although I know folks have gotten more, but you can get up to three per person. And you can also, if you have an issue, please either DM me or text me or whatever it is, and just tell me what the actual issue is. Because one of the things that I had stated at one of the meetings is that the city needs to do a debriefing after these large scale events, because that way you can see what worked and what didn't work. And there were some things that I thought were improved, and there were some things that needed to be improved because, as you know, stated with some folks who stated that they had issues with those paths. They don't drive. They are in Uber. They take Uber, they take Lyft. And then when they get to their home, and specifically the Lake Lucerne area to be exact, you have folks that live in the apartments or they live in a house. But Lake Lucerne goes from 27th to what? I don't know, 17th or maybe a little bit further down. That's pretty far for you to drop someone off at Calder Racetrack, per the police officer told them to get off at Calder Racetrack and then they can walk in. But that's a problem. Why should they have to get off if they're a resident who lives in that area? If they show their ID, that should be enough. And so the pass sometimes is just it for some people it just doesn't work. It doesn't work. And but if you do have it, please, if you have any issues, just let me know because I want to post about it and show that they need to do their due diligence and letting residents, not residents, sorry, the police officers know what's going on. Let me see. So when do you actually need those passes? So the passes are really for any event that's, I would say events that are happening at that stadium. We'll use that as an example. Like I said, tonight you had I think it's Bad Bunny concert tonight, but for the past 2 days you had Shakira. And so with Shakira, right? And I think Miss Lynette, she could tell you if she wants to come up, but she had issues getting home last night. So that helps with the letting the police know that you're a resident here in the city. But again, most of the time when I ask people who use it, they say the police don't even look at it. They don't know anything about it. So I don't know how this city is communicating with the police officers who work at the stadium, because the police officers who work at the stadium are more than likely not police officers from the city of Miami Gardens. I'm pretty, if I'm not mistaken, there are no city of Miami Gardens police officers who work those details around the stadium. They work out in the outskirts, so to speak, of the streets in Miami Gardens, but not the stadium itself. But please correct me if I'm wrong, if someone in the chat knows more than I. um, let's see. I think FIFA dates pushed Juneteenth celebration out of the city. No, that FIFA date's been there for like a good 2 years. The- World Cup goes every 4 years. They 4 years in advance. So these things are way in advance. So the city, even if the city were not able to utilize the Hard Rock Stadium's parking location, they got 15, 16 parks in the city. They could use one of these parks. If not, they could use, I don't know if they'll be able, well, I wouldn't say Roland, not Risco Park, but they could say use Bunch Park, because that's a little bit not as close to the stadium activities. But on that day when they're having their event, there's no soccer. The soccer is on the 20th, and they're having their event on the 21st. So, and so and like I said, they actually moved it to Ives Estate. So even if it was the same day, it would be out of the city. Why over there? I don't know, but they're putting it over there. So yeah. Um, it appears the stadium priority. Hold on, let me see. Traffic control. Traffic control. Well, listen. It's supposed to be, there's no conversation in this city. And I'll say it, I've said it before, and I've said it at city council. There's no conversation in this city about the parking lots. There's no conversation in the city regarding the park. They post things, but everyone doesn't see their posts. There needs to be actual active talking to the residents. Hey, this is going to, if you follow my page, you'll see that whenever we have, for the past 4 years or 3 years, whenever, of Formula One, I've posted where the parking lots are located in the city, not the stadium parking lots, where the parking lots are located in the neighborhoods, so that people who live in the neighborhoods know. Especially, you have folks who live right behind Norwood Elementary. I mean, what's it? Not elementary. What's the other one? The middle school. They get stuck in traffic because they're right off 12th Avenue. And then you have folks who live by Norwood Elementary. They're stuck because they're right on 199th Street. I'm near Brentwood and near Betty T, but that's not as bad because it's a little bit more you know, it's not as bad per se because we're not in the crux of it, so to speak. Over there, they have a little bit of an issue, and especially when you have folks that are coming from Miramar. I've heard people who are coming from Miramar who live in the Riverview community, which is right off of 37th and 199th, and they've had issues coming inside the city because of the traffic. Because the traffic for those, like I said before, you have the parking lot that's at Snake Creek Canal is from 27th Avenue and it crosses all the way to 47th Avenue. That's not something that they talk about in the city. And when these events are over, they don't do a debriefing with the community to ask the question, how did you fare? Was it okay? Did you have issues? What were the issues? What are the changes that can be made, and da 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 and so forth? Those things are needed, and they don't ask those questions. I made a suggestion because of what I heard regarding the people who use Uber and Lyft, and I said, hey, why don't you guys make like a little uh, residence card, like an actual card, so that they can keep in their wallets? Because everyone doesn't drive, and we have to recognize that everyone doesn't drive. Some people take the bus or they take whatever, and if the bus, in this case, they take an Uber. If the Uber is driving them there, they should be able to go through, drop them off, and come back. That's not the case. So with that, I'm just going to do some community events. And if anyone wants to come up and have any thoughts that you want to say, I'm going to put the link down in the chat. Just go ahead, click the link, and I will bring you on up, and you can leave your opinion or not, or if you want to just write it in the chat, that's fine too. So for community events, tomorrow, Monday, June 9th at 6:30 p.m., the Norwood Norland Neighborhood Watch is having their meeting. So again, if you live in the Norwood Norland area, please attend. That's going to be at Norwood, is it Norwood or Norland Park? Norland Park. And I don't have the address off the top of my head, but you could just type in Norland Park, Miami Gardens, and you'll find it. And go ahead and attend. Even if you don't live there, attend the meeting, because there's information there that you may get, um, and you could pass it along to someone else. Also, if you or someone that you know need some looking for housing, or you want to get help from the city, or I mean, excuse me, the county, there is a tomorrow there's going to be a wait list for the vouchers for the Miami-Dade housing vouchers. It opens at 8 a.m. tomorrow on June 9th, and it will close at Friday, June 20th at 11:59 p.m. So don't do it at 12 midnight and think you're going to get in, because they're closing it. So I'm sure an arm and a leg and a cat and a kitten will be on there at 8 a.m. So I will put the link. I don't have the link with me right now, but I think it's let me look for the link. But nonetheless, I'll put it on my page, and I'll put it in the WhatsApp chat as well as in whatever text thread I'm in. I'm gonna just put it there for you guys so that you guys are able to pass it along to someone else. And there you go. Let's see. When do you actually okay, let me pass that. Let's see, I passed that one. I'm just going through your comments here, so I'll make sure I didn't miss anyone here. All right, my opinion, the city does not value their residents. They are self-servant elected officials, bottom line. Well, all right then. You said what you said. There you go. Repeat, please. Oh, the which one? So if you're talking about the Miami-Dade housing, that's going to open tomorrow, Monday, June 9th, from it starts at 8 a.m. So that's electronic. So you'll be doing that online. And then it'll close Friday, June 20th at 11:59 p.m. The other one is the community event is the Norwood Norland Neighborhood Watch, and that's tomorrow, June 9th. It starts at 6:30 p.m. at Norwood Norland Park. All right. And if anyone else has any community events, is there one for, I think there's one for Lake Lucerne, right? I think Lake Lucerne is having their meeting on Tuesday, June 10th. Norland meeting, yes. Oh, the Norland meeting, yeah. Did you hear it? So that's tomorrow at June 9th at 6:30 p.m. at Norland Park. And the Lake Lucerne meeting is going to be at Bennett Lifter Park, June 10th. Miss Lynette, put the time of your meeting, because I forgot the time of the meeting. So if you guys have any questions, any thoughts, any concerns, if you want to come on up and say something, and please, 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 while you guys are on here, do me a big, huge favor and hit the like button, which is the thumb button. That helps me in the algorithm of the YouTube streets, so more people will find the page, and we can get a lot of more interaction. So just hit that thumb like button there. That would be great. I appreciate the interaction and the comments. And if you guys have anything that you have been thinking about, oh, I'm going to put, because I did a video and I put it on my page, and I still get, I don't even know how many questions. At least, I kid you not, at least 100 questions per day on this school speed zone thing. And that I did that 2 months ago, and every single day, minimum 100 questions on that video. It boggles the mind. I'm flabbergasted on the amount of people that come on that particular video. But I will be putting the actual amount, the breakdown of the dollars. It's $100. So if you follow, go on my page and you'll see the video regarding the school speed zone situation and the $100 ticket. I'm going to put the actual breakdown of that ticket. I will physically write it because I said it. I say it in the video, but I guess people maybe they want to actually they want to see the actual numbers. I don't know. So I'm going to put it on. Yeah, I'm still going to put it on there just so folks know because I'm still getting people today. I had people asking me about it. I'm like, "What? This school is out." So so, but for whatever reason, they're still asking. So I'm just going to put it on there so that they're aware. And then I will reiterate that when it gets closer to, I'll find out when summer school starts. And then when regular school comes back into session, then I'll put it again just to remind folks because by then I think maybe the good majority, if not all of the schools will have their school speed zone signs up just for folks. So let me see what else we got here. There is summer school. Okay, yeah. So we have who is this here? Okay, let's see here. The Myrtle Grove Neighborhood Watch, June 17th, 6:30 p.m., North Dade Regional Library. So come out and support, learn a little bit about what's going on in Myrtle Grove. You've heard about, if you haven't, the Myrtle Grove Park, that whole situation. I'm not sure where are you? I guess you guys are in the same situation with that park, right? Nothing's really changed, right? So that park that should have been under renovate, well, not even under renovation, quite frankly, it should have been done by now. But nonetheless, it's at a standstill over $9 million. I don't get what's going on over there. But I guess yeah, so that is it for now. If no one has any more community announcements that you wanna, if you have any, oh, I want to say this. I don't know if she's on here or not, but Alexandra, if you're on here, if you want to come up and talk about your event, I'll talk about it as well. But she had an awesome, excellent event on Friday. I wish a lot more people would have shown up. That would have been great because it was really insightful in terms of she had someone from poison control as well as the Miami-Dade emergency response. I think I forgot the name of uh, the I forgot the name of it, but nonetheless, what they did is she gave information about hurricane preparedness, and also the lady, her name is Wendy from the poison control. She gave information regarding how people, all the ways that people get sick after a hurricane, the snakes and the sewage in the water, carbon monoxide that we don't, maybe some people don't think about because they're bringing the generators inside their home. And please, by the way, do not do that. Don't do it. Don't do it. Leave it outside. And she said you should have your generators 20 feet away from your home if possible. I mean, for most of us here, we have a good amount of space in our yard, so we should at least have 20 feet away from our home, well, at least that much room. But she also gave out carbon monoxide detectors as well as Narcan, and she gave an explanation. And once they uploaded on their page, I'm gonna put it on my page because they were recording. But she gave an explanation about people who overdose and what Narcan does to open up their passageways, and instead of somebody on the verge of dying, they now have a pathway of breathing. So she actually gave out Narcan to us and said that we, keep it, comes two in a box. It's like $50 a box. I didn't realize it was that expensive, but nonetheless, she gave those out and said, keep it in your car, keep it in your purse, keep it in, wherever, in case you never know if someone's going to uh, overdose near you. You just never know if you're in that situation and you just happen to have Narcan with you to help save a life. Also, the other lady, I can't think of her name right now, but she's from the county, and there's a program called CERT, S-E, no, CERT, but they have a program where they certify you to be a certified emergency response team or something like that. And uh, this is a way for you to get to know information on what to do if you're in a hurricane system or a natural disaster or something like that, how you can help your own community. Because I know right now, one of the things that I want to get is information on who do we call during a hurricane? What's the city's hurricane preparedness? What are the numbers? Who do we call? Where do we go? Does the city have an evacuation plan? What, like, I haven't heard anything from the city. Correct me if I'm wrong. If you have heard something from the city and you know where this information is, please let me know so I can post this information. Otherwise, I'm gonna go and ask myself because I just realized, like, wait, this is something we need to know. Reason why I think about that is, of course, folks in Lake Lucerne who had concerns last year, or was it last year? Yeah, last year, when they had the canal and the water was rising, and they couldn't get in contact with anyone because what City Hall is closed on Fridays. City Hall is closed on Fridays, and I don't know if the event on Friday, but it was closed, so they couldn't get in contact with anyone for 3 days. That's the problem. So we need to be able to, who can we call in an emergency in this city? Who can we call an emergency in the county? Which I know the county has stuff because I have the booklet here. But the city, how does that work? What's the number? Who do we call? Who do we call at night? All of these things are things that we need to know, and we should have it, on a refrigerator, on a phone, wherever, and just so we're aware. The CERT program, um, she is going to bring it. She's trying to bring it here in August because normally they do the certification in Doral, and it's a 24-hour program. So they break it up into three 24-hour days or six, no, yeah, 6 4-hour days, so that you can get certified and you can help within your community or your county. And sometimes I think they go out of state or out of the your jurisdiction to help other folks, if you will. But it's good for us to know within our own area how we can help ourselves. And lastly, with a hurricane, sometimes if you see a lot of drain, the water is filling up and on the streets, go to the drainage area, because sometimes that's blocked. Because where I live, there is a drain, and I was like, why is all this water coming here? And myself and another neighbor, we walked over and we cleaned out the drain, and boom, the water was gone like that. So those are things. If you don't already have one, get a water boot, get a rain boot, whatever you want to call it. Get one. They are a really awesome investment. And when it's wet outside, your feet will not get wet. And it'll keep you away from all of the muck and the whatever is out there in the water. So with that being said, if you guys are let me go down here. Oh, hold on, sorry. Cert. Yep, that's it. So yeah, it's gonna be here, and she's gonna try to bring it here in August. And there's going to be an one they're bringing here at Betty T on July. Oh, let me see. Where did I write it? I just had it on my thing. I don't know where I did with it. It's going to be July, I think the 12th. But I'll put it when I get the information. I'll put the information down. But it's for three days for teenagers from ages 12 to 17. So if you know anyone from the age of 12 to 17, and you want them to be, certified, so that they have an awareness because they can help too. That is a good thing for them. I would say definitely sign them up, and it's free. Okay, let's see what's on here. Let's see what it says. Please, I'm new to this arena. Kindly share the name of your website to review information you're referring to. Please and thank you. Oh, okay. My website is not up right now. But it's if you're on any social media page like Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Threads, and the other one. What's the other one? Twitter. No, what do they call themselves now? X. I'm on Pinterest as well. It's Miami. It's the same right here. Oh, oh, it's right here. My logo on the thing. It's Miami Gardens now. So all of those that's in my picture up there, that's where you can find me on any of those platforms. Miami Gardens now. Yeah. And let's see what we got here. Police dispatch should have those emergency numbers. Yeah, they should, but I wish the city would do like its due diligence because I don't know when we'll get the newsletter, and that would have been great to have in the newsletter for us so that we could just have it, on to the side. But I'll definitely check that tomorrow. Thank you. I'll definitely check that tomorrow. Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, because remember Trump cancel FEMA. I believe. Yeah, this is why they give you a backpack. So once she puts up the video, once Alexandra puts up the video, and her organization, it's called Eco Impact, and she's doing really good things. Her last class prior to this one was a class for seniors and teaching them how to use the computer and different apps. So I just went there just to see what it was, but it was really interesting. And this one was really good. So with the certification, they give you a backpack filled with items in there to help, if you're going to go out and help in the community. And I was like, wow, this is really, really good. And we also got, what else did they give us? They gave us like a little emergency tube. It was filled with emergency water, band-aids, whistle, a light, and gloves, and something else. That's something you can keep in your car or your backpack or something like that if you're going somewhere. Also, we got, what was it? It was a Narcan, and we got another bag of stuff. But I've been to another workshop that was at the library, and they gave us solar light, like a solar light lamp thing. Really neat. So I've had some of the things already, but it's always good to have a little bit more and keep it because a lot of these things are not going to spoil. And so it's in your best interest to just be aware, pay attention, and just make sure that you tell the next person, hey, did you get, your canned foods or your shelf stable milk if you drink milk, or all of these little things, because you'll be surprised when it's time comes up and you're looking for that can of tuna and you can't find that can of tuna. You're like, dang, I should have bought it. Go ahead and buy it now. You could buy 1111 when you see the deals. And believe it or not, Presidente and Tropical Supermarket, they tend to have a lot of good deals on some of these things because they're not your mainstream. That's the word I was looking for earlier. They're not your mainstream supermarkets, but they're your local supermarkets, and they tend to have a lot of things that maybe you might not be thinking of right away, like condensed milk or corned beef or something like that. And I've posted a little bit, but maybe a month or two ago, about the cans of soup for 14 cents at Aldi. I was in Aldi yesterday, and they still have the soup there for 14 cents. Tomato soup. So if that's something you just want to stock up on, you just want to have some soup or beans or anything like that, most definitely go ahead and do that. Newsletter is coming this month. Oh, okay. Well, hopefully they put that in the newsletter this month. That would be great. you know if not, I'm working on a newsletter for Miami Gardens now that will have a lot of this information and some more information, just to spotlight. It'll be spotlighting a resident or a location of history in this area. I didn't know too much about Rolling Oaks. I'm still learning a little bit more about it, and I'll still be asking some of you guys there in the comments because I know who you guys are, asking a little bit more about the history of Rolling Oaks because I want to highlight it. I think it's important that we understand where we are, preserve where we live, because there's so much being torn down, and you see what's going on all over the country right now with history, and not just Black history, just history in general is being censored. And so we definitely want to try to educate the community so that you appreciate where you live and you take care of where you live, and you not give up where you live. Because if you give up where you live and sell your house and try to go somewhere and buy a house, You would have just said, yeah, I'm better off staying where I was because, now you're going to come out of pocket even more than you did if you just stayed where you were. So, crime and grime. Your crime and grime, is that coming up soon? Okay, there we are. Okay, I see you. All right, I'm going to put you up. Here's another meeting coming up soon. Oh, it's coming up this week. All right, so Crestview, Rolling Oaks, Crime and Grime, Crime Neighborhood Watch meeting is coming up this Thursday, June 12th. So uh we have Norwood Norland meeting tomorrow, 9th, June 9th at 6:30. You have Lake Lucerne on tomorrow, no, Tuesday the 10th. I think it's at 6 o'clock if I'm not mistaken. And then you have the Crime and Grime for Crestview Rolling Oaks on Thursday, June 12th. And then next week you have on June 17th, correct? Yeah, June 17th, you have the Myrtle Grove. So you have about four right there where you can get information about what's going on in the community, and you can always let them know what's going on in the community because everyone's not everywhere, and they're all volunteering within the community to educate their respective neighborhoods and communities where they live so that you, the residents, uh, become more engaged and active and have an awareness of information. And with that, it is 8:30, so that was my cutoff time. Well, I'm a little bit over, but that's okay. I want to thank you guys so much for staying on with me and engaging with me and giving me some information. Uh, and some of the information I will be uploading onto my Miami Gardens Now Instagram and Facebook page. If you're on the WhatsApp page, it's Miami Gardens News Now, so you can look for that one if you have WhatsApp, because I know there's some people that are not on any kind of social media. I will post any videos on the Instagram, Facebook, and the YouTube pages, as well as the TikTok page. So everything as you see right here in the logo, it's every single page, any social media, it's always at Miami Gardens Now. All right. So thank you so much. Thank you, Grace, for dance. Thank you so much for joining me. And if there's anyone who you want to share this with, please share and let them know we're here. There's also another organization. They're called One Community Can. They're residents here in Miami Gardens, and they have a page as well where they have a website. Um, where they give information about what's going on in the community, and they connect you as well to other, they have links and things because they have a actual website itself. And it's just important that we stay informed, because why should everyone else know what's going on in our community and we don't know what's going on here? All right. So until then, bye. And if I see you, which I'll probably see some of you guys tomorrow at somebody's meeting, I'll see you then. Bye. Have a good night.